think I can do it. Okay, see guys, I'm learning.
Look at you. See?
All right,
There you go.
so I'm learning. So Jeff, tell me that you don't, so
It
what,
looks
you just
perfect.
see my slide now, or do you see me too?
It looks perfect.
Okay, but do you only see my slide, or do you see me too?
I see you in the corner, and then
Got it.
your screen takes up the most of it.
I'm learning. All right, thank you. See, we don't know it all, but we can learn it all. That's what we do. Okay, so vision for your life. That's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about building the life you really want. The life you really want. Now, I know Jeff talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to start with just a little bit about me and who I am. So you know just a little bit about me. So because I'm bigger than my production, right? So I'm a mom. That's my love of my life. I'm a mom. I have twin boys that are 19, going to be 20, and I have a daughter that is 13. I'm a wife. I've been married 26 years. I'm a natural teacher, mentor, coach. That is where I get the most fulfillment in my life. I did spend 20 years in corporate America at an executive level for much of that time. And I spent a lot of time there helping build training and mentoring and coaching programs and then participating in them. And although I loved what I did in corporate America, I really got to a place where I experienced burnout. And when I made the transition to real estate, which I had always wanted to do, but I had been very comfortable climbing the corporate ladder, doing that grind, that I didn't jump. I didn't take the opportunity to jump and take a risk to be able to build the life that I envision for myself, I would say in a small way, because we can have visions that we don't write down, that we don't act on, that it's that little thought in the back of your mind, like, oh, I wish I could, or maybe someday. One of the things I've learned is someday is coming, I think, but I better act on it now, especially if it's something I really want to do. And so one of the things that was a shock to me when I came into real estate is I felt like I entered a world where everyone was like, that I had encountered at the time, was like, please don't look at my paper. I'm covering my paper, like when you were in school and you didn't want somebody next to you to see your answers. And so we covered our paper. Everyone was covering their paper. And here I thought I was pretty smart. And I thought I love to help people. I love to help other people succeed, whether that's sharing what I learn or helping a consumer buy a home or sell a home, whatever it is. But I was struggling to learn what I needed to do to be really great at real estate, which I knew I could be. On top of it, I didn't really think through this real estate strategy. When I finally jumped, I just jumped. And what I didn't think about is I lived for 35 years in Illinois. I grew up there. I was born and raised there. And my entire sphere of influence resided over there. And I had just moved to Northwest Indiana, to St. John, Indiana, to a beautiful home, and got my kids settled in a wonderful school district, and was just starting, literally just a couple of months starting to learn the area when I woke up with my real estate license in the state and no sphere of influence. Nobody, didn't know a soul. Couple of neighbors, that was it. And I had 6 months to replace my 6-figure income. I carried the health insurance. For my family, my husband worked, but we were accustomed to my income being 6 figures. And we knew that on Friday, I was always going to get a paycheck of X. And there was comfort in that. And so that one of the things that I told my spouse I would do is, don't worry, I'll replace my income in 6 months. That was real for us. And the agreement was, if you don't, you get a job, you can keep doing real estate, but you got to do both. And I just didn't ever want to work for anybody again. I have been working since I'm 13 years old. Literally, I worked at the church on weekends, every weekend. I didn't want to work anymore for someone else. I wanted, and I knew I could work for myself. So it happened month 6 because I made a lot of mistakes, and I've made plenty since, but I've made a lot of mistakes. But I did meet or beat my income goal month 6. And my first year, I sold 25 homes in our market. And in the first 9 months of that year, 100,000 of the GCI that I did make came just from open houses. So that was pretty amazing. But I learned to do other things too. And so that was my initial goal or dream, was get out of corporate America and just replace my income, right? But then I started to really dream. So I want to talk about dreaming for a minute. Do you remember when you were a little kid? Just go back, just go with me, right? Go with me for a minute. Like, you were a little kid and you would daydream, right? You would dream about, I don't know, all kinds of things. There's a friend of mine's little boy dreams about being a garbage man. He is so enamored by the garbage trucks, right? He just wants to do that. That is something that is so cool to him. My mom says when I was 5 years old, I told everybody I was going to be an attorney. I love my attorney friends, but I don't want to be one today. But I told everyone I was going to be an attorney. Remember imagining you could fly, right? Imagining, by the way, I knew there were airplanes when I was a kid, but we never went anywhere on an airplane. I didn't know you could really travel by airplane, but I imagined traveling all the time. I do travel all the time now, and I have for many years. Do you remember being vulnerable to share your visions for your life with other people? Do you remember someone would ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you would say, I wanted to be, at one point I remember wanting to be a country rock star. I'm tone deaf, folks. I won't sing for you today. But man, do I love to sing. And I could envision myself on stages, silly as it might sound, singing the best country tunes ever for thousands of people. And I would tell people that. Do you remember knowing what you were good at? Do you remember making friends and sharing your gifts with them, like what you were good at, telling them and learning from what they were good at and appreciating those things? Remember that? Sometimes as adults, we get away from those things. And that is very much a part of envisioning your life, is dreaming. I really like to laugh. It's one of the things I like to do the most. And I laugh at myself a whole lot. So feel free to join in. It's okay. But because I love to laugh, I also follow a lot of comedians. And Steve Harvey is one of the ones at my heart that I love. And he is such a complex human. I do not know him in person, but I have seen him speak. I have followed him, and he is a motivational speaker. And he talks about, and I always think about, part of his story. Part of his journey is he was a little boy that he says couldn't talk outside of his house. He had a severe stuttering problem, so much so that it was hard to understand him outside of his home. And he tells a story that always, that really got me dreaming and got me really taking my visions seriously. He tells a story about being a little boy and the assignment in school. He was about 10 years old. And the assignment in school that day was to write down on a piece of paper what you wanted to be when you grew up, and then to come up to the class and say what you wanted to be when you grew up. And he was sitting at the table, and he was one that really didn't come up to the front of the class, didn't get called on, didn't be asked to read out loud because he had the stuttering problem. And he usually didn't maybe even want that. And so all of the kids were going up and they were saying, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a ball player, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a fireman, all the things that they wanted to be. And he got called upstairs. Or not up to the front of the class, and he said, I want to be on TV, 10 years old. And the teacher said to him, what makes you think you can be on TV? Why did you write that on your paper? And really embarrassed him. And here he was, a little 10-year-old boy getting called up to the front of the class and being so excited. He thought he got called up because this was a gold star moment for him. right? He thought, I wrote such a great thing on my paper that I get to go up to the front of class and I get to tell everybody what I wrote. The teacher is calling me out for a special reason. And then the tone of voice with, why did you write that on your paper? Let him know that that maybe wasn't the thing to write. And she went on to say to him things like, do you know anybody on TV? Anybody in the school on TV? Anybody in your neighborhood on TV? And of course he says, no ma'am, no ma'am. And so she told him, I'm going to pin this note to your clothes. We used to do that even back then. And you're going to go home and you're going to tell your mother and father, and I'm going to call your mother and tell her you were being a smart aleck. So here's this boy who just told his dream, 10 years old, at the front of the class with a stuttering problem. I want to be on TV, and is humiliated, and has to go home and deal with mom and daddy. And he will say in his story that meant he's probably getting a whipping from dad. And that would have been, in my house, would have been from mom. She gave the whippings in my house, but that's what it would have been in my house too if I was sent home for being a smart mouth to the teacher. So he goes home and his teacher says, his mother says, why did you write that on your paper? Why are you fooling around at school? And he says, that's what I want to be. That was the assignment. I want to be on TV. And she says, well, you're going to talk to your father when your father gets home. So he was just preparing for the whipping from the father. And his dad gets home and gets settled in for the night, and he gets called out to see his father. And his mother says, you tell your father what you did. So he tells his father what he did. And he says, I wrote, I want to be on TV in my paper. And his father says, well, why did you write that? And he said, because I want to be on TV. And his mother goes on to say, yeah, he's being a smart aleck. He wants to be on TV, and is telling his father. And his father looks up and says, well, what's wrong with that? And so he sends Steve Harvey into his room. Just go in your room. And he comes in later and he says, why did you write that on your paper? And Steve says, because I want to be on TV. See, he could envision himself at 10 years old being on TV. He didn't know anybody that looked like him on TV. He didn't know anybody personally on TV. He just could envision himself being on TV. So his father said to him, all right, here's what you're going to do. I want you to get another piece of paper, and you're going to write on the piece of paper whatever it is your teacher wants you to write. What does she want you to write? And he said, well, she wants me to write, I want to be a fireman or a policeman or something like that. So he says, pick something and write it on for the assignment and give it to the teacher. And then he takes Steve's paper that says, I want to be on TV. And he takes it to Steve and he gives it to him. And he says, now with this, I want you to fold this paper and put it in your drawer. And at the beginning of every day, I want you to read this paper. And before you go to bed at night, I want you to read this paper. And I want you to do that every single day. And so Steve did. He put it in his drawer, and that's what he did. And guys, if you turn your TV on 7 days a week, there's a little show called Family Feud, and there's been a lot of other shows. And if you turn your radio on, there's a Steve Harvey radio show, and there's a lot out there. And that started with a 10-year-old little boy just saying what his vision was and dreaming and believing in it and then reading it all every single day. So that really motivates me whenever I talk about building the vision for your life. I think about Mr. Harvey all the time and go and see him every chance I get if I know he's speaking somewhere. So let's talk about dreaming. Your dreams are your vision for your life. Don't discount your dreams. I have done this. Your dreams should be so big that they scare you. They might scare other people too. You know the naysayers in your life that say, you can't really do that. That's not going to happen. That's impossible. Quit telling your dreams to small-minded people. Don't let that deter you. Your dreams should be so big, they scare you. They seem unbelievable to you, and they will sound unbelievable to small-minded people. Hey, it doesn't mean, by the way, I have people in my life that are small-minded, that I love, who are wonderful people that are important to me. Some of my dreams I don't tell to them. They can't receive it. That's okay. Doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean I don't respect them. They can't receive it for me, but I can. I can receive it for me. The Bible says a man without a dream shall perish. I didn't learn that in school. I didn't learn that anywhere else. I just learned that from reading the book. If you dream it, you can do it. It's not just the same. If you dream it and you do it, now you got to take action too, which we'll talk about. But it starts with a dream. Your imagination is everything. Albert Einstein said, your imagination is it's the preview to the coming attractions of your life. Loosely quoted, right? It's the preview to the coming attractions of your life. You imagine things for yourself for a reason. So why do we stop dreaming? Because as kids, we're not guarded, right? And that's why I go back to, remember when you were a little kid. That's why I tell Steve Harvey's story of being a little kid. My mom used to say all kinds of crazy things. Like, I still feel this way. I'm a Midwestern girl. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and I live in Indiana now. And I don't like the winter weather. I'm cold, folks. I'm freezing all the time. I love how snow looks. It's so beautiful when it snows, but I don't like trudging through it. I don't like the cold that it brings. When I was little, I used to say, oh, I wish that it would snow on the treetops and the rooftops and the grass only. So there would be no snow to clear. It wouldn't be challenging. And I wish it would snow when it was warm because I just didn't like cold. Now that's never going to happen, right? But that's a dream, right? When we were kids, we just say what we think. It's a mindset. As we get older, we get more serious and we stop dreaming, and we shouldn't. We can have a mindset that allows us to have a vision for our life that we can make come true. We can put ourselves in environments where we're inspired by the right people. Sometimes we're in environments where it's tough to be inspired by those around us because they don't have the vision we have. So we have to seek out other people to surround ourselves with that don't think our visions are impossible, that they see the word impossible as I'm possible, that they know that we can make our visions come true. Our past sometimes cause us to stop dreaming. I've got a message for you today. Your past doesn't predict your future. I'm a living example of that. Today is 201 days in a row I have worked out every single day. I have exercised 30 minutes or more, most days 60, for 201 days. I am going to be 46 years old, January 1st. Never in my 46 years until the last 201 days did I ever exercise every single day. Never. I do now. Our past doesn't predict our future. Let's talk about a flea, story of a flea. The flea is the smallest insect on Earth, I think, on Earth. Yet it has a 36-inch vertical. Think about that. 36 inches, 3 feet. It can jump to the height of a toddler. A flea, a little tiny, you can barely see it flea, has a 36-inch vertical. You put a flea in a jar, and you put the lid on a jar. The flea still has a 36-inch vertical. It still jumps. That's what fleas do. They jump. But now it hits its head on the lid. And what happens? It understands that even though it has a 36-inch vertical, after it hits its head a bunch of times, it understands it has to make an adjustment. And so it has the capability and the potential to still jump 36 inches, but it doesn't want to hit its head on the lid anymore. So it stops. It doesn't jump its full potential. It just shy of the lid. What I want you to get from my talk today is your brain is your lid. You determine what your vision is. It can be small, and I have had small visions, and it can be vast. Today, my visions, if I told you some of them, you'd think I was a little crazy. You might wonder about me just a little bit. Your brain is your lid. Imagination is your lid. Open up your lid. That's what I want you to get from my talk today, is that you can open up your lid. When you open up your mind and you use your brain and everything in your imagination as your lid, you will unleash your dreams. Thoughts change your existence. When you change your thoughts, you will change your existence. Look, from a health perspective, I had a lot of business success, not to the level that I'm going to have, but I had a lot of business success, and I still do. I didn't have any, or as much, no, I didn't have any personal health success. I didn't. I had a lot of 20 plus year false starts, failures, lots of failures. And I am the healthiest I have ever been in my entire life right now, because I changed my thoughts. Yes, I changed my nutrition. Yes, I changed my physical activity, but it started with my thoughts. And I work the hardest on my thoughts around my personal health and even my business, but especially around my personal health right now, every single day. It starts with your thoughts. So let's talk about success for a minute, because I think it's really important before we jump more into the vision that we talk about success. Success is like an iceberg, okay? And what people see is the highlight reel, like social media. They see your success. What people see if they follow me on social media and don't know me real well is they see I closed on a house, I made some money, I spoke at an event. That's what they see. I helped a person do this. I helped a person meet their real estate goal. What they don't see is everything underneath. They don't see the persistence, the sacrifice, the disappointments, the heartbreaks. There are some. They don't see the failures. I fail so many times. Look, I always say to everybody in my life that knows me really well, I more than fail forward. If there's a hard road and an easy road, I take the hard road 4 or 5 times every time before I get to the right, easier road, right? I do everything the hard way. Even my parents used to say that. I do everything the hard way. They just see the top. They don't see all the stuff underneath. So, just because we've had failure in our past, or it's been really hard, or we've had disappointments, or we're not as disciplined as we would like to be. I'm not as disciplined as I would like to be. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the big visions for our life. And it doesn't mean we can't and won't make those come true. So I have had vision boards for the last 3 years consistently. And I love my vision board. So it works for me, and it works for hundreds and thousands of people. Successful people, the really successful people, when you talk to them, always talk about how they wrote down their visions. Even when they weren't sure how they were going to get there, they wrote down what they could envision. Write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision and make it plain. That's in the Bible too, right? So what gets written gets done. Then vision boards is about making it visual. If I can write it down and I can put it in words I can see and pictures I can see, and I keep it with me everywhere, right? My vision board is on my laptop, it's on my phone, it's hanging in my office, it's everywhere. I print out a copy, it's in a journal I carry around with me. I keep it in front of me. The vision board prompts you to visualize your ideal life on a regular basis. I start my day with a vision board. I end my day with my vision board. I want to keep it in my forefront all the time, that this is what I'm working towards. This is what I'm trying to do for my life. Mindset. It's like, it's part of vision boarding is affirmations. Being able to have the mindset that you know you can do what you want to do. Okay, my first affirmation, which at that time wasn't on a vision board but could have been, was I just want to replace my income in 6 months. I believed I could do it. I had no idea what I agreed to, but I believed that I could do it. And I did. Therefore, by the grace of God go I did. And a lot of really awesome people that influenced me as well and helped me along the way. I figured it out and I did it. And I didn't do it once. Once I did it, I have done it every month since. That was something that I had to do. I wanted to do and I had to do. Then I was like, I want to be a multi-million-dollar producer. Year over year, I want to be able to say every year I am a multi-million-dollar producer. I want to travel, right? My mindset, whatever I can think of, I can do, and I do. So what's a vision board? A vision board is a visualization tool like I described, a collage of words, pictures that represent your goals and your dreams. And here's the thing, guys, you know what your goals and dreams are. If you think you don't know, you know. You need to get quiet with yourself, away from everybody, and be vulnerable with yourself. On a piece of paper, you need to start to write down what is it that you want for your life. Because I have people that say to me, I don't know what I want. You know. You might be scared by it, but you know what you want. You achieve your goals when you keep them top of mind. So the vision board helps us keep it top of mind. This visualization activates your subconscious mind. Your mind doesn't know the difference. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what is reality and what you tell it. Your brain will believe what you tell it. When I was not a multi-million-dollar producer, I was saying, I am a multi-million-dollar real estate producer. I was saying that every day in those terms. Was I doing that at the time? No. When I was 399 a year ago, I was saying, I am the healthiest version of my 175-pound self. I am still saying that. I'm 224 pounds right now. I am not 175 pounds yet. But guess what? I'm not 399 anymore either. So my brain doesn't know, and your brain doesn't know the difference between what you tell it makes, and what's reality. When I was saying I was 175, I was 399. I was out of breath walking around the grocery store. I was out of breath showing homes. I was embarrassed to get to the top of the stairs and have to be huffing and puffing in front of my client. I was. And you know what I learned? Some of my clients who love me, who still use me, have used me multiple times, now that I'm healthier, have said to me, I prayed for you. I felt bad and I prayed for you. Whew, how about that? This is why you create your vision. You make it visual. You put it somewhere where you can see it, where you look at it, where you say it to yourself every day. It's the law of attraction. Like attracts like. When you tell your mind the things that you want, it makes your brain be able to notice the available resources to you that were always available to you, but they escaped your notice. You weren't focused on them, so they escaped your notice. You will attract the opportunities into your life, and you will make your visions a reality. I promise you. It has happened for me. So let me share a few things with you guys, and I will make sure, I know we have everybody's emails from the registrations, I will make sure you get this, because then this is like the checklist for creating your vision, which I'm going to run through, but I want you to all have it because I want you to use it to create your visions. So I'm going to talk like I'm you, right? My vision board depicts goals and dreams in all areas of my life, not just a specific area, or it could be, or just a specific area you'd like to focus on. I guess my first vision board ever was just about replacing my income, being successful in real estate. But now over time, it's become about other things. So I was pretty tunnel focused on that in the beginning. The images and the words on your vision board should symbolize the, I can't speak today, symbolize the experiences, the feelings that you want to attract into your life. They're positive affirmations. I told you my one was, I am a multi-million-dollar producer. My current one is, I am a 7-figure income earner. I am not yet, guys. I'm a 6-figure income earner, but I'm going to become a 7-figure income earner. That is one of my affirmations. That is one of my visions. Only your vision board should have words on it that represent your purpose, your ideal future, the emotions that you can imagine. How will you feel? How will I feel when I'm a 7-figure income earner? What will that feel like, look like? What will the day be like? What will I be able to do for others? My family, my friends, others in the world. You spend time each morning visualizing, affirming, believing. Ask, believe, receive. You have not because you ask not. And then you don't have faith. I was there. I wasn't asking, so I wasn't having. And then I was asking, but I didn't have faith. If you have a physical board, even if I do it digitally, you can do this. Like when I started out, it was a poster board from the dollar store and a bunch of magazine clippings. That's what it was. I didn't have a printer at home yet. I didn't have anything. That's what it was. Cut and paste, hanging on my wall. I still have my old vision boards too. I save them because I like to be proud of the things that have happened, that the achievements from those vision boards. But I love to have a board. And if I do it on Canva, which a lot of us, we can do it on Canva, which is a free image tool, or if you just do it in Word or PowerPoint or whatever you use, Google, print it out. Be able to hold it in your hands so you can really internalize the future it represents. Make sure that you read the words on there or the affirmations on there at least twice a day. If you can see it in your mind and you can hold it in your hand. Also, I wrote down the dates that I created my vision boards in the past. Write down the dates you create your vision board and create a new one each year. And be proud of the things that you achieved. And if something moves, I've had things move. I had things move from this year to next year on my new vision board. That's okay. I just needed more time. It's my vision for my life. It's not my vision for my next 12 months. There are things on there I'm going to do in my next 12 months. There are things on there I'm going to do in 6 months or 3 months, and I don't even know it yet. It's my vision board is not time bound, and yours shouldn't be either. It's your vision for your life. Some of it is now stuff, and some of it is later stuff. But it's all coming. It's all coming. See yourself living in the manner of your life on your vision board. I regularly feel myself in the future I've designed. I'm not there, but I can feel myself there. I believe the items on my board are already mine when I look at them. I already have them. And I'm already grateful for them. I'm grateful for today, and I'm grateful for tomorrow. I'm grateful for all the good that's present in my life. I acknowledge and celebrate any goals I've achieved along the way. And I do not see something that didn't happen. Like when I'm reviewing my 2020 board, there are things on here that didn't happen yet. That is not a failure. I need more time. It's coming. And I acknowledge and learn from the changes that I've seen and felt. I have changed probably this year more than any year in my entire life. There's no there. When I get there, I'm going to be there someday. There's no there. We don't peak. I don't know what the best version of Amy looks like tomorrow, but I know what it is today, and it's the best version. Personally and professionally, I regularly acknowledge that the law of attraction is at work in my life. and I have fun and I never give up. So let me talk to you about some of my visions. The truck. One of the first vision boards I did, I put a picture of a brand new $50,000 pickup truck that I wanted to buy for my husband. I'm going to buy this cash for my husband. Every day I'm looking at my vision board and I'm going over all my visions, and the truck was one of them. The truck was one of them. And sometimes your visions don't exactly happen the way you think they're going to happen. Sometimes they happen over time, right? And sometimes they're transitional. So I didn't really understand this, but I also had not been at the time very financially responsible. And so I would make a lot of money and I would spend a lot of money. I didn't save a lot of money. So for once in my life, I had about $10,000 saved, right? Which back then I didn't have a lot of money saved. I had about $10,000, and every day I'm reading all my visions. One of the visions is this truck, and I keep talking about this truck to myself. I'm going to get this truck for my husband. I'm going to get this truck for my husband. And one day, someone I know posts this gorgeous, beautiful, it wasn't $50,000, beautiful garage kept truck that somebody in their family was selling because a grandpa had passed away and he had this beautiful truck with like almost no miles on it, mint condition, and they wanted $4,000 for it. It was worth well more than $4,000. They wanted $4,000 for it. Here I am every day looking at this truck on my vision board. I'm going to buy a truck. I'm going to buy a truck. And I'm like, well, that's not a $50,000 truck. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, Amy. That's a beautiful truck. So just for giggles, I showed my husband, I'm like, hey, look at this truck. Would you like this truck? He's like, oh, I like that truck. I bought that truck. I bought that truck cash 45 days after I put it on my vision board. Now, some of my visions take longer than that. And I didn't think when I put it on my board, I was not planning for that truck. That truck was a blessing in our family. It ended up getting handed down to my children because they got their licenses. And so he drove it for a while. My son drove it for a while. That truck was a blessing in our family. And I was able to buy it immediately for cash. I had never been in that position in my life before. I wasn't financially responsible at that time. I became a national real estate coach and speaker. Put that on my vision board. Why? Because I want to help people. I want to take what I've learned and make somebody else's road a little bit easier. I lost 175 pounds. I put that on my vision board many years that I was going to be a healthy weight. I got pictures for years on vision boards that never happened, that is happening now. My dreams are so big, they scare me, they'd scare us all. Yours are too. There I am. 399 pounds, folks. On a trip in California at a winery. Today I'm 224. I'm not where I need, I'm not there yet, but it's on my vision board. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about activating the law of attraction to you. If you look at the word attraction, I want you all to focus on the slide on the word attraction. What's the last 6 letters? Action. In the word attraction is action. Attraction is about like begets like, believe, receive, achieve. It is about that. But you have to take action. And this is going to be a great segue for Jeff, because Jeff is going to talk to us about taking that vision, the dreams. I want you to dream as big as you can dream, and then dream bigger. And then I want you to put it into action. Action that you can take, because that is how you're going to see these things on your vision board begin to happen. You're going to create goals. You decide. I do 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, next year. And then I do them 90 days at a time. Jeff will tell us the how today. You decide. I find that, and so I dream big, create some goals. I find images and words that represent my vision. I make the collage. I don't care. Do it on the computer. Do it on a poster board. Do it on an old Amazon box. We got a lot of them being delivered, don't we, right now for Christmas? Add the motivational, affirmational works in there. Think about how are you going to feel? What will life look like when you get there? and begin and end your day reviewing your vision board. And more important than anything is just have faith. Have faith that it's going to happen. You have to claim it for yourself. The thing about faith is the evidence of things not yet seen. Yet. Faith is the evidence of things not yet seen. You see it here, and then you have to feel and have faith that it's coming. For me, it's God. For you, it may be somebody else. I know God has packaged up my 7-figure income, and it's coming. I got to stay on Faith Street, and it's coming. I got to keep taking action. I got to keep dreaming. I got to keep doing the right thing, and it is coming to my doorstep. Here's the thing. I don't know the date. He didn't tell me when, and he's not gonna. Right? Can't tell me when. I just have to do the action. Keep the dream and do the action, and it's coming to me. It's coming to you too. I am no different than any of you. Any of you listening today, some of you are better than me. Better than me in a lot of things that you do. You have better skills. You have bigger visions than I have. It's okay. We're not we're not comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy. If Amy can do it, I was raised by a truck driver, and I'm not minimizing, a hard-working truck driver and a waitress. I was born to a single mom who seriously considered not having me, who seriously considered an abortion. The fact that she didn't, and she had me, and she kept me, and worked 3 jobs, and then met my dad a few years later who raised me. I was designed to be awesome, and so were you. I was raised with a good work ethic. I wasn't raised with any money. I wasn't raised with 6-figure income earners. I wasn't raised with 7-figure income earners. I can dream those things. You can too. So you got to dream, and you got to dream big and make your vision become reality. That's all I have.